Good morning, everyone. January 30th, 2025. My name is Terry Allen, and we are destroying the deep state as we speak. And it's about time, because with the deep state dead, so goes the oligarchy, because the deep state is the towel boys for the oligarchy. The Trump's nominations for these high offices in his cabinet, I think, are excellent. Patel, I followed him for a while, and he is a pit bull, and he is an honest, ethical guy that wants to get to the root of the problem, and he wants the truth to come out. He was the investigator that uncovered the Russiagate hoax. He figured out with Devin Nunes that Hillary Clinton personally and her campaign paid for the Steele dossier. They planted in the media news pieces so that other media would pick it up and say, so-and-so says. I mean, it was an outrageous criminal operation. And then they turn around and say, well, Trump did this and Trump did that. You know, one of the things I don't like about Trump is he brags a lot, okay? He just goes on and on about wonderful this, and I was great at that, and it was the best economy ever. And that's not true. It was good. It was better. But it still wasn't that great. Now we have a chance to change some things and truly make America great again. And that would be with high-speed rail, water management projects, high-tech, basic research. We need fusion energy development. Nuclear power needs to be back on the grid again. It is the cleanest and safest power source we have right now. And the environmentalists ironically killed it to protect the environment when it didn't protect the environment. It made it worse. So you can see that these people are either idiots or shills for a higher purpose, which is what the oligarchy believes, that the world is overpopulated and they've got to do something about it. That crazy idiot Bill Gates, he thinks that the world is overpopulated. That's one of the reasons why they've been pushing these vaccines, which they know that don't work. All of the promises that they made about the COVID vaccines were lies. They knew they were lies. Pfizer had tons of evidence that there were side effects and problems, and the products were not tested properly. My father told me when he was alive that I knew he worked for Mead Johnson and then Bristol Myers as a scientist developing drugs, running tests on animals for drugs. And he said that these COVID vaccines haven't been tested at all. He said it takes 10 years of development and testing to get a safe product onto the market. And these vaccines were rolled out in 6 months. Remember when they were going to cure, you would never get COVID and you would never spread it? There's talking head after talking head that said that, and they were all lying. And Dr. Fauci was right in the middle of it. The greatest liar of all. Then 3 months later, it looks like we need a second shot. 3 months later, it looks like we need boosters now. Every 3 months you're going to need a booster. And come to find out, you still get COVID. And you find out that you can still spread it. And that masks don't work. What a pile of bullshit. And we also found out that only the older segment of our population, those that had certain problems already, medical issues, were the ones that were most susceptible to getting COVID and dying from it. And vaccinating children, which the possibility of them dying from COVID was minuscule. I mean, this was a giant fraud upon the world by the pharmaceutical companies and the oligarchy in their attempt to cull the herd, as they call it. The WEF, these psychos at the WEF, that's who the problem is. That's your oligarchy. The deep state is the FBI, CIA, Homeland Security, the spying agencies. There's your deep state. And the politicians, because most of them are attorneys, they're not businessmen or scientists or educators, none of that. They are all scumbags. Some are worse than others. Jamie Raskin, Jesus, oh God, he is the worst shill, the worst liar. This guy and Adam Schiff and that psycho woman from Florida, I can't remember her name, but she's got that awful curly hair, looks like she just got out of the shower. And then you've got that other crazy woman from the Virgin Islands. Oh, she's appalling. These people are sick. And they need to be fired. Primaried and fired. And all these people, oh my God, look what they're doing. Look, my daughter passed away from a fentanyl overdose in November of 2003. So, sorry about that light. The sun is right in the worst place. She passed away from a fentanyl overdose that she got from one of her friends that was selling what were called blues on Facebook. She took one and passed away because it had fentanyl in it. She didn't know that. And we found her. Oh God, it was horrible. My ex-wife found her, tried to revive her. I was on the phone at the other end when the paramedics came out and said that she's passed away. She was only 30 years old. And the detectives said that it's the fentanyl that's coming across the southern border. It's the products that are made in China, but they're put together in Mexico by the cartels, and they're dumped into this country, and they're killing hundreds of thousands of our population. So when these people are rounded up and sent back across the border, I have no problem with it. These criminals, they've been letting people out of their prisons, and it's true. Unbelievable. What we've gone through the last 4 years under Biden and Harris. These people are horrible. Biden is the head of a crime family that was selling his access to their father and their grandfather. Even the grandkids had bank accounts. They were funneling money all over the place. We know now because we have bank records that they took in $27 million for the family purely from access to Joe Biden and his ability to do things for countries, bribes. What did he do? Right at the very last minute, pardoned his entire family. He pardoned all of the people that were on the J6 committee, the so-called committee run by Liz Cheney. She committed crimes. They lied. They knew it was fake. These people need to go to jail. This is not retaliation against political enemies. This is taking responsibility for their actions of what these psychos did. This is not political retribution. This is following the rule of law. Remember, no one is above the law. Remember, we were pounded into our heads about that. No one is above the law. Well, fuck you. No one is above the law. You're right. You need to go to prison. Liz Cheney needs to go to jail. Hillary Clinton has needed to go to jail for a long time. She is as corrupt as they come. Yeah, this is awful. And everything seems crazy what Trump is doing. He's like, it's the scorched earth policy, shock and awe. God damn light. The sun shining brightly this morning. Anyway, we need to confirm RFK Jr. We do need to get our food supplies cleaned up. We need to prohibit all of these chemicals in our food. I mean, you take a box of pretty much any kind of processed food on the shelf and look at the ingredients. It's a mile long and it's tiny little words that you can't even hardly read what they are. It's some kind of crazy Latin. There's doctors say that if your food has more than 5 ingredients in it, it's probably no good for you. Europeans have a much better diet, much healthier. United States is a mess. Anyway, I sure hope Tulsi Gabbard, I sure hope Tulsi Gabbard gets confirmed, because we know the truth. We know what the deep state has done. We know that they have surveilled our population. They know that we've been spied upon, and the FBI has been going after what they call domestic terrorists. MAGA people, domestic terrorists. And then we know that the J6 was an FBI and Homeland Security operation. They instigated the riots. We know all of these facts. Now it's time to enforce the law and put these people behind bars. Oh my God. When will we wake up, everyone? This is crazy. I want people to pay for my daughter's death. I mourn every day. Only 30 years old. She had a son that's 11, my grandson. He's 13 now. I mean, this destroyed our family. And then you want to protect these illegal aliens, undocumented. They're not all criminals. That's true. They're not all criminals, but there are a lot of criminals. And we need to get rid of these cartels, these drug cartels. If it takes the military to do it, then we've got to do it. And then the human trafficking, the child abductions and trafficking, there's, what it was that they said is hard to imagine. 300,000 children have disappeared in the last 4 years. You know what's happening to them. They're in the sex trade, slave labor. Oh my God. Being sold back and forth to these oligarchies, to the oligarchs, and the deep state. That's why they didn't really want to release the Jeff Epstein names, is because they're all involved. They're all perpetrators. They're all pedophiles. These names need to be released. We need to go after these people. If you and I did any of these things that they did, we would all be in jail for the rest of our lives. And these people walk free. It's sick. It's really sick. Our society has gotten terribly sick, and it looks like Trump is going to cure some of this nightmare, and I am all for it. So let's do something about this. Push your congresswoman and your congressmen and your senators to do something about this. And we need Cash Patel in there running the FBI, because he will wreak havoc. And that's exactly what needs to be done. All right, I got to go. Have a great day. Golden age is upon us. Take care, everyone. Subscribe and like, okay? This is getting ridiculous.